This video is sponsored by my new Walking Dead themed OnlyFans, where
I'm doing stuff, Lori. Things.
Hey guys, it's AJYT Abbott here, and welcome back to another review. This is going to be our final review, giving my thoughts on the finale of The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, titled The Last Time. Now, this is a very big episode for the series, of course being kind of the culmination of, honestly, the entire series, I would say. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into full-fledged spoilers for this entire video. I don't feel like there's really anything I can go into here that would not be spoilery. So I'm going to warn you guys right now, this is a full spoiler review. If you haven't seen the episode, please, please, please don't ruin it for yourself. Go watch the episode, come back and hear my thoughts on it, because this is a great, great episode. So, with that being said, hope you guys are gone. For those of you that haven't seen the episode, let's get right into this. So, leaning off of the back half of the... going from the end of the last episode, Rick and Michonne are infiltrating the CRM once again. Rick returns under the cover that, Michonne pushed him out of the helicopter and she died in the crash. And Michonne infiltrates the CRM to try and get the dossier that Jadis left behind with all the information about Rick and Michonne in Alexandria. So, Rick gets the echelon briefing from Beale in this episode, and let me just tell you, oh my gosh, Beale, the actor, Terry O'Quinn, killing it. Oh my gosh. One complaint, one tiny complaint. I love the series, but one tiny complaint is I would have liked a bit more of Beale in this series. But nonetheless, we see Rick have this meeting with him where he's giving them the echelon briefing, and we get some really big implications for the future of the show and the universe, where Beale is basically like, hey, look, we're going to do what we can do here, but the most likely outcome is that we're all going to die. We're all going to die because there's these massive groups of walkers, in the millions, out there. And eventually they are going to reach, communities and just take them out one by one until, 14 years from now, the human race is over. And all that's left is a bunch of corpses. And Beale sees an opportunity within Rick. He's like, look, there is a possibility that you can be the future of the CRM one day. And he asks Rick to swear on the sword. And then Rick's getting all these flashbacks throughout the episode. Him and Michonne are getting flashbacks to him, way back. Season 2, 1, all of the seasons are pretty much in here. And that was awesome to see. You gotta love some good flashbacks, some callbacks there. Especially Rick. Beale asks Rick, what was the worst thing you've done to stay alive? And you see Rick biting Joe's throat out in the Season 4 finale of The Walking Dead. Which is one of my all-time favorite moments of the show. So I loved seeing that, getting a callback for that. That was awesome. Yeah, basically, Beale asks Rick to swear on the sword to commit, to the CRM. And Beale catches on. He's like, Rick's not going along with this. So they get into a fight, and Rick ends up getting the upper hand and killing Beale, delivering a badass line. We're not the ones who... we're not the ones that are dead, or we're not dead, you are. And he sticks the sword in him. That was badass. So a bit of a quick end for Beale. Like I said, I wish we would have had more of him in this series, but for the time that we did have him, Terry O'Quinn killed it, man. He was great. So meanwhile, while this meeting is happening and Rick deals with Beale, Michonne gets the dossier from Jadis' office. She kills this one CRM soldier who gets into the building, the room, because she thinks Jadis is in there because Michonne's standing right next to the door, and then they slide this envelope in there, and it hits Michonne's foot, so they're like, oh, Jadis must be in there. And then Michonne chokes out that soldier, kills her, presumably. And then she gets in on this meeting that the CRM are having where they're going over this plan that they have to basically go to Portland and gas it all. Just like they did in episode 2 with Nat and all them. They're going to drop that gas and kill everybody in that entire city, save 10% of the children and raise them to be strong leaders for the CRM and everything. Because obviously it would be insane for the CRM to be like, oh, you know what? Why don't we just save all of the kids? No, they're only going to save a percentage of the kids that they have deemed worthy of citizenship within the Civic Republic, because Beale reveals to Rick that they have had spies embedded in these different communities all across the nation that are just waiting for the CRM to be like, alright, we're ready to take out this city, take all their supplies, so take whoever you deem as worthy of joining, and we're going to kill the rest, which is just mind-boggling to think that they have done this so many times in the past, most likely to other communities. It's sad. It really is. So Michonne thinks about, her kids, obviously. She's like, holy shit, we cannot let this happen. Because Beale is like, look, what we're going to do here is you can bring in whoever you want, and they will be spared from our plan. But our plan is to walk across the nation, march across the nation, and just liquidate community after community, killing people and taking their supplies. And basically, the CRM is going to be the last community of people on the planet. So they are planning, like, worldwide domination here. And I was shocked. I mean, I know the CRM is fucked up, but Beale has this massive, massive ideology that, what does he say? The sword that kills is a sword that gives life. So he believes in liquidating all these communities and benefiting his own, that he is helping the world. Even though he is going to wipe out millions upon millions of people in order to do that. That is insane. They rig up a bunch of grenades to this gas that we've seen in the World Beyond show, where, obviously, who was it, Huck, set up all these bombs and blew up all the gas. That was kind of her sacrifice in that show. So Michonne and Rick are rigging up this bomb to go off, and they get Beale and this other CRM soldier that Rick kills later on in the episode as walkers, and they tie the wire to them, and they're going to have the walkers pull the pin and end it. So Beale is ending it. And it's a large gathering of CRM troops. It is like over 3,000 frontliners at this meeting that has been building up over the series. Because if you remember, when Rick and Thorne were assigned to Cascadia Base, they were saying you need to get this place ready for the summit that's going to happen, later down the line, where all the frontliners and all the big, top brass of the CRM are going to meet up. So that's what's happening here. And then we get this big meeting. And during Rick and Michonne setting this up, we see Thorne. And she starts to piece together that something is off. Because Grimes tells her that Beale is, outside after their echelon briefing. And then Thorne goes out there. Beale's not there. So he's like, what are you up to, Grimes? And she pieces it together that obviously Michonne, a.k.a. Dana, is the one... She thinks it's Dana, a.k.a. Michonne, is the one that Rick was always trying to get back to, and they have concocted a plan to take down the CRM. So, Rick and Michonne run out of the tent. They got the trap is set. The walkers are being let out, and Thorne stops them. And they're like, "You're gonna turn around, and you're gonna undo whatever you just did." But it's too late, because as Rick and Michonne are walking back to the tent, here comes Beale. And they see this as an opportunity because Thorne is going to be shocked. She's going to be caught off guard when she sees Beale as a walker. And sure enough, she is. So they run away. They quickly cut open this canister of water, cover themselves up so the water douses them so the gas isn't going to affect them. And boom! The pins are pulled, and 3,000 frontliners of the CRM are annihilated. Absolutely demolished. And that was... incredibly satisfying to see. I loved it. But of course, Thorne isn't done. She had a gas mask, so she puts that on, and we have our final confrontation between Rick and Thorne and Michonne, where, Rick's trying to fight her off, and she's like, you destroyed the world, look what you did! And she pushes Rick off, and then Rick starts getting attacked by, like, a ton of walkers, because the explosion probably killed a percentage of those CRM frontliners, but a lot of them survived. They didn't survive, but they weren't their brains weren't harmed enough for it to kill them, to stop them from turning. So they do come back as walkers. So as soon as that explodes and we come back from commercial break, it just shows tons of walkers are pouring in their CRM suits. So Rick gets cornered by a bunch of them. I mean, he's got like 10 or 12 on him at once, and he's trying to fight them off. He doesn't have his prosthetic because he leaves it behind, which initially I thought that's kind of weird that he would leave that. But then I was thinking, he probably doesn't want that to like remind him of what the hell they put him through, what he had to do to get out and everything. He probably doesn't want to think about that ever again. I don't blame him. But Rick is cornered, and I'm thinking, holy shit, we're actually gonna have to lose one of our characters here. And you know, Michonne fights Thorne. She manages to kill her or stab her, and Michonne gets this great line. She's like, "Love doesn't die," and she stabs Thorne. And she's also like, Thorne is asking her while they're fighting. She's like, "How did you find him?" And she said, "I didn't give up. I didn't give up like you did." And I think that's a great parallel because I keep wanting to call her Pearl because that's her first name. But Thorne is kind of still, you know, she's just on the cusp of like where Rick was, okay? Rick was almost where she was, okay? So Rick was lost. Like before Michonne came into the picture when he was heading to Cascadia Base with Okafor at the beginning of this series, he was in. Like he was lost. And Michonne brought him back. And Thorne, obviously, she never got that. You know, she never got back to the person she loved, the ones she was trying to get back to. She just committed to the CRM. And unfortunately, that's led to her demise because it's all over. Michonne kills her. She's as Thorne is dying. She, you know, gives him the gas mask. She said, you know, Okafor was right. You just gotta hope that Beale was wrong. And I like that it didn't end with her being a complete hardened villain right to the end. She was just blinded, just like Rick was. So I thought that was a fine end to the character. And Rick and Michonne get out of there. They give the information about what the CRM was doing to the city. The citizens are allowed to be set free. They can leave now. And the CRM completely reevaluates their end goal for the apocalypse. They are not going to do what Beale planned to do. They are going to send out helicopters and reach out to other communities, other areas, and supply them and help these communities thrive. So that was beautiful. But here we go. The waterworks start going here. I didn't even mention how Rick survived. Rick should not have survived this episode because he pulls a pin on this grenade while the walkers are cornering him. It blows up, but like 2 or 3 bodies that Rick holds on top of him manage to shield him from an explosion from a frag grenade. It's Rick Grimes, hell. But anyway, here's where the waterworks start, okay? Because Rick and Michonne get back home, and they actually give us a reunion between Rick, Michonne, Judith, and RJ. We get a Grimes family reunion here. It's truly beautiful. It was great to see Kaylee Fleming reprise a role as Judith, and obviously, I forget the young actor's name for RJ, but he's back in here as well. I was happy to see him. And he's like, "You're the brave man?" And Rick's like, "Yeah, but maybe you can call me Dad." And Judith's like, I knew you had to be out there. I knew you had to be alive. And they embrace. We get this great triumphant music score of kind of like a rendition, a more hopeful rendition of the intro music for the show, which I still fucking love. I'm gonna set that as my ringtone. As the CRM helicopters fly overhead with supplies heading to Commonwealth, Alexandria, whatever other communities are out there. But yeah, as for the future of the Walking Dead universe, no, that's where it ends. Rick and Michonne are reunited with their kids. We haven't obviously gotten our reunion between Rick and Daryl or Rick and Morgan, so that's definitely got to happen in the future with Daryl Season 2 coming back in the summer. You know, maybe it'll end with Daryl actually getting home. Who knows? But I'm gonna do a video later down. I've got a lot of videos planned, but I've got one planned for the future where I'm going to go by, you know, the complete Walking Dead timeline. I'm gonna break down my thoughts on all of it throughout, you know, even all the spin-offs, all of that, and it's going to be a good time. So, if you're looking forward to that video, please leave a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe for more awesome Walking Dead content. I'm never going to stop making Walking Dead content. I love it. I know a lot of you watch my content for the movie reviews and stuff like that, but The Walking Dead is very personal to me. I love it. It's a big part of my life, so please understand that. I do other content than just Walking Dead. I don't flood you guys with that content, but I hope you enjoy it nonetheless. Take care. Sorry for this review being long. I just had a lot of thoughts to get out there. But yeah, take care. Make sure to hit that notification bell for more Walking Dead content so you're aware that I'm making it. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.